Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about one of nature's most mind-blowing transformations, the 21-day miracle. This is the journey of how a chicken goes from a simple egg to a living, breathing chick. And yeah, that number is everything. Just 21 days. That's it. 3 weeks. Inside that ordinary-looking eggshell, a single cell goes on this incredible high-speed sprint to become a fully formed animal. It's just amazing.
So the big question is, how on earth does that even happen? How do you go from a speck of life to a fluffy, peeping chick in such a short time? Well, that's exactly what we're here to unpack. Let's break it down, week by week.
All right, let's jump into week 1. Think of this as laying down the blueprint for life. Seriously, these first 7 days are everything. This is where all the foundational work gets done basically from scratch. And I mean, this first week is just a blur of activity. It all kicks off with cells just dividing like crazy. But get this, by day 3, there's already a tiny heart beating. A heartbeat! And it's building this whole network of blood vessels. A couple of days later, boom, you start to see organs and the little nubs that will become limbs. So by the time we hit day 7, that single cell is actually starting to look like a tiny, tiny chick. The pace is just wow. You know, during this super fragile stage, there's one thing that is absolutely crucial: turning the eggs. And there's a really important reason for this. You gotta turn them consistently, a few times a day, to keep that little embryo from literally sticking to the inside of the shell. It sounds so simple, but it is a life or death situation. So you might be asking, how do we even see any of this? Well, it's through a process called candling. And honestly, it feels like a magic trick. You just shine a bright light through the egg, and suddenly you have this amazing window into a hidden world. You can literally see those little veins branching out like a road map, confirming that yes, there is life in there. Okay, on to week 2. We're calling this one gaining strength. The blueprint's been laid out, right? Now it's all about building on that foundation, turning that rough sketch into something way more solid. This is when the embryo really starts looking like a little bird. You see the first signs of feather follicles popping up, its beak starts to harden, and the skeleton gets stronger. And here's the really cool part. By the end of this week, the chick is active enough that you might actually feel it move inside the egg. It's a real, living creature in there getting stronger by the day. So the big takeaway for week 2, it's all about that transformation. We're going from something super fragile and almost see-through to a chick that you can actually recognize. This week is just pure growth and refinement. All right, here we go. Week 3, the final countdown. Now, on the outside, everything might seem calm and quiet, but inside that shell, it is a whirlwind of last-minute preparations. The chick is getting everything ready for its big debut. This last week is all about one thing: getting ready to hatch. The chick has this huge growth spurt, filling up pretty much the whole shell. Then, around day 18, we hit a super important stage called lockdown. The chick absorbs the rest of the yolk, which is basically its energy pack for the hard work ahead. And then, the big day arrives, day 21, hatch day. Okay, let's talk about this lockdown on day 18, because you absolutely cannot mess this up. 2 things have to happen. Number 1, you stop turning the eggs. This lets the chick get into the right position to break out. Number 2, you crank up the humidity a lot. So why the sudden moisture boost? What's that all about? Well, that extra humidity softens up the membrane inside the shell, making it way easier for the chick to break through. The whole hatching process is like a little 4-step mission. First, you get the pip. That's the very first crack. Then the chick just rests, sometimes for hours, just building up energy. Next comes the zipping, where it works its way all the way around the shell, cutting a perfect little escape hatch. And finally, the final push, and it's free. Okay, so after seeing that whole incredible journey, let's boil it all down to the essentials. Think of this as your incubation playbook. These are the absolute non-negotiable must-dos for a successful hatch. Rule number 1, and this is the big one: temperature. 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the magic number. And it can't just be close, it has to be rock solid and stable for the entire 21 days. If that temperature bounces around, it's just not going to end well. All right, next up, humidity. And you have to think about this in 2 phases. For the first 17 days or so, you're just looking for a nice, steady, moderate humidity.
But then when you hit lockdown on day 18, you've got to ramp it way up. Remember, that's what softens the inside of the shell and makes the chicks escape a whole lot easier.
So if you nail those two things, you've already dodged the most common mistakes people make. Number 1 is messing up the temperature. Number 2, a really classic one, is forgetting to stop turning the eggs on day 18. And number 3 is getting that humidity wrong, especially in that final lockdown phase. Avoid those 3 pitfalls and you are way ahead of the game. And just when you think this whole thing can't possibly get any cooler, it does. Get this. About 24 hours before they hatch, you can actually hear the chicks chirping from inside the egg. They're talking to each other. They are coordinating their grand entrance into the world. How incredible is that? So there you have it. From a single cell to a whole team of chirping chicks, coordinating their own hatch, all in just 3 weeks. That's just wild. So I've got to ask, what was the most surprising thing you learned today? Was it the heart beating on day 3, or the fact that they talk to each other before they're even born? It's just a fantastic reminder of the amazing processes happening all around us. Thanks for joining me.